So you had a bad day. Maybe you hit a wall. You ruined a good relationship. Maybe you even lost your job. Maybe no matter what you try, it feels impossible to effect change for the better. To the contrary, when even the smallest things are going wrong, it's hard to get back up on the horse again. We've all been there, and it really sucks. But reading can help. Today, we're taking a look at 7 books, and 7 types of books to read when everything's going wrong. And if you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Let's dive in. First, if you're feeling overwhelmed by life, read something stoic. Let yourself reframe things. Remind yourself that you can only control what you can control and no more. My choice here is to read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I chose this for its digestibility as well as its depth. It's really a collection of the private writings of an emperor of Rome, and it was never intended to be published in the first place. So it's made up of a series of kind of short reflections on a wide variety of topics. And so it feels super intimate. And you can pick it up and honestly get as much out of reading a single page of this as you will get out of reading many books themselves. So I would start here with Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Second, if you're feeling lost in life, Stoicism might not be what you need. I would look into reading some virtue ethics. This philosophy will help shift the focus away from the external to our own internal character development. My pick here would be to go back to the greatest work in the genre and read Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. One of the most central ideas in this book is that happiness, or flourishing, eudaimonia as Aristotle calls it, isn't really a feeling, but it's a way of living. Aristotle reminds us that character is built through habit and action, a good reminder when life feels like it's falling apart around you. So I think this book is really a great one to read, a great reminder on how powerful returning to these good habits, good friendships, and meaningful routines really can be. Nicomachean Ethics. Third, sometimes truly horrible things happen in life, and Stoicism and virtue ethics aren't always the right tools. Sometimes I think we need to read something psychological. For me, this has to be Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Now, Frankl was a Holocaust survivor, and he was also a psychiatrist. In the 1920s, Frankl was a gifted student of Freud, but after his experiences in Auschwitz and other Nazi internment camps, his view of human nature diverged from that of Freud. The core argument in this book is that human beings can endure an unbelievable amount of suffering if that suffering is connected sufficiently to very deep meaning. Where Freud saw human nature as driven by the will to pleasure, Frankl sees it as driven by the will to meaning. I think that time has already shown that Frankl is the wiser of the two thinkers, as brilliant as Freud might be, but this book is an excellent aid to those who are suffering, particularly deep suffering. And the fourth one here, read a memoir. Sometimes when things are spiraling out of control, you need to get out of your own experience for a while. Choose something honest and vulnerable that you can connect to that reminds you that another human being has walked through all the things you're going through. My pick here is When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. It's a poignant memoir written by a young neurosurgeon who has been recently diagnosed with terminal cancer. It's not an easy read, but it's one of the most beautiful books I've ever read about mortality, purpose, and what makes a life meaningful. It's a short memoir. It's very likely was meant to be a longer one, and you could really sense and feel the time limitations that the author faced in getting his ideas on paper before the cancer took hold. It's life-affirming. Perhaps only books about the arrival of death can be so wonderfully life-affirming. But When Breath Becomes Air is read, it's hard to get out of your system, so be careful with this one, but When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi, I'd highly recommend, or finding a memoir that you really connect to. The fifth category of books to read when life has you down is read something whimsical, something lighthearted, unconstrained, free, magical, childlike, joyful. Not every cure for suffering has to be serious. Indeed, it's the serious solutions I'm most concerned about and most skeptical of. More often, what we actually need is gentleness and beauty, coziness, and a reminder that the world still contains good things. Okay? My choice here is The Wind in the Willows. Now, I've talked about this one before. I love this book. I chose this partially for nostalgic reasons, but feel free to choose something that resonates with you. This story, it is everything we just described. It's warm, it's funny, it's peaceful, it's comforting in a way. It's kind of hard to explain exactly how unless you've read it, but I'd highly recommend reading it. So if you're looking for good-natured absurdity, Mr. Toad is pretty hard to beat. This is a great way to reconnect with that kid that lives inside all of us. So, The Wind in the Willows. Speaking of connection, my sixth recommendation here is to read a beloved work of fiction that grounds you again. Like the previous category, this can be any work of fiction provided it resonates with you and brings you back to a place where your troubles were not there, before the troubles began. Generally, this needs to be something that you've read before, ideally multiple times. And if you have no such book, find a book that is well regarded, and whose description feels already nostalgic or like you've experienced some aspect of it before, even if you've never read it. For me, there are so many books that could fit this category. But for now, my choice is My Ántonia, or My Ántonia, by Willa Cather. It's a novel full of memory, friendship, landscape, loss. It's really about endurance, and it's a beautiful, beautiful story. There's something about it that just slows me down and reminds me of the kind of profound beauty that can be found in small things. It also reminds me of home, even though I've never been to Nebraska. So find something like that. Find something that you connect with. My Ántonia. Beautiful book. The last book here, when things feel terrible, they're generally either not as bad as they seem, or they're made a lot worse by our own minds, by our own perspective, our ruminating on the loss or the failure or what have you. And frankly, all that's a load of crap, right? Which is why you should choose something hilarious. Something that will make you literally laugh out loud. Humor is one of the greatest antidotes to despair or to sadness or depression. Even in Auschwitz, Frankl called humor one of the soul's weapons in the fight of self-preservation. The world can be unbearably heavy if you lose the ability to laugh at it. So find something that you think is hilarious, that you love. My choice here is the story The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared by Jonasson. I don't have it here actually because I lent it, I think, to my mother. But it's a story about a man who escapes the nursing home on his 100th birthday. And then he has this series of absurd adventures interspersed with flashbacks of all these improbable ways that he influenced history in the 20th century when he was a younger man. It's really funny. It's just, it has all these absurd adventures and it's really just ridiculous and yeah, quite funny. So that would be my recommendation, but choose one that you love. Beyond books, I'd also recommend poetry. Emily Dickinson is a great place to start. Read something like Hope is the Thing with Feathers, or there's another one, A Wounded Deer Leaps Highest. That's another great one. Dickinson's just a great writer overall, so I'd highly recommend, just reading anything by her or anything by another poet that you really connect to and that you really feel speaks to you on a deeper way. She is one of the greatest poets of all time, but there's so many other choices, right? I find her work in particular to be very musical, very honest, but just find poems that you like and let yourself be subsumed into the poetry. That's the best way to let poetry kind of wash away your worries. I can also recommend, for example, the poetry of Rumi, if you're looking for ancient, a Persian poet, or perhaps you're looking for something more spiritual. I would recommend the Psalms. They contain the full range of human emotion, from grief and anger, confusion, gratitude, fear, joy, hope, everything, right? There's a psalm for every season. And my final recommendation is write. Honestly, sometimes writing is better than reading. Journal, write a poem, write a terrible short story, whatever it takes. Write a letter you'll never send. Just let it out, put it on paper. It doesn't have to be good. Just get it out of your head. That's the key. To write is human. We survive difficult periods by turning that chaos into story. And there's a reason we do that. Just don't ask me what that reason is. Anyways, maybe that for another video. So there you have it. Not every day is going to be a good one, but there are 7 books, really 7 book categories that you could read when bad things are happening in your life. And if today's a good day, I'm wishing you continued joy. And if it's not, that you may see better days soon, maybe after visiting a book or two along the way. Happy reading, everyone.